Good evening, Lizzie boys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I was just kind of thinking, and I realized Ever After High is extremely underrated. I know, what a hot take. It's surprising. Most people don't think that at all. Please note the sarcasm in my voice. So, it's no secret that Ever After High was an amazing doll line, and not enough people give it the credit that it deserves. Like, you rarely see somebody say, oh, I'm starting an Ever After High collection. It's always, oh, I'm going to start collecting Bratz. I'm going to start collecting Monster High. I'm going to start collecting... What else is, like, nostalgic and cool to collect? I can't think of anything right now, but I'm sure there's something else. But Monster High and Bratz are the first things that come to mind, just because they both picked up popularity very suddenly, very recently. And by recently, I mean like 2 years ago. So, it was a time... We all know what happened in 2020. If you don't know what happened in 2020, I don't know, were you born yesterday? I don't know. But, I don't know. It would seem like during that time, everybody just started getting into dolls, collecting them more. And a lot of doll lines announced, like, that they were coming back. Like, I think Bratz started posting about releasing new dolls. I don't think they released anything in 2020. It all started in 2021 for their 20th anniversary. Monster High released the Skelectors for Monster High's 10th anniversary. And from there, the doll market plummeted into a state of disarray, where now even, like, the most common dolls cost, like, way more than they should. And that never happened with Ever After High. Ever After High is pretty underrated. The dolls are pretty accessible and not that expensive, which is really good. Like, that's a really good thing. It's not a complaint at all, obviously. But I've always wondered how Ever After High didn't get as popular as Monster High became again. And then I remembered that Ever After High was never as popular as Monster High was. I learned this from watching an Izzy's video, but Ever After High never made anywhere near the same amount of sales as Monster High did. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I know that Monster High was making like hundreds of millions, and I don't think Ever After High ever made those kinds of numbers. They made like millions, definitely, but not hundreds of millions, you know? And it's unfortunate and so sad to see. Ever After High really did deserve better. I'm lucky enough to boast a near-complete Ever After High collection. These are just some of my dolls that I keep over here on this shelf. I've got some more down here, including a customized Courtly and Lizzie that I kind of emo-fied because I went through a phase when I was 13. But overall, Ever After High's always been a fabulous doll line, and I think it deserves way more attention than it gets. Obviously, I've got my favorite, Lizzie Hearts. I've always adored her. I even named myself after her. My alias Lizzie, it's thanks to her. I even made an emo-fied Lizzie wearing a very crappily made MCR shirt because My Chemical Romance is my favorite band even to this day. And Lizzie was my girl. I've got just about every doll. I've even got the Comic-Con exclusive Cerise Wolf and the Comic-Con exclusive Raven Queen, who, let's be honest, she was kind of a flop. I've got my Legacy Day dolls up here, including Raven, she's over there. I've got a Heartstruck Cupid behind Claude, new in the box. I've got one Throne Coming doll, Cupid, and I've got the Queen Apple up there. I have a lot. I have a Cerise right here. I forgot she was right there. I put one of my cedars here. I've got some more down here, like my Dragon Games Poppy. Oh, I didn't show you guys Birthday Ball Cupid. Look at how cute she is. And here is where I keep the majority of my Ever After High dolls. On this little dedicated shelf over here. I've got the full Ferris on Ice line, Basic Duchess, Basic Rosabella, Date Night Dexter, which is good because I customized my original one and turned him into the Joker. I was a weird kid. But I've basically got every Ever After High doll over here. I absolutely adore this line, and whenever I find them at flea markets, I cannot resist buying them. This is my original Raven Queen doll. Her face is very crooked. And this is the Raven Queen that I thrifted at the flea market yesterday and cleaned up and restored. Her arm is breaking. Probably gonna fuse it back together with some acetone, but yeah, Raven was my number one. I got her first. This wonky one, was a gift from my friend when I was a little kid. And I've kind of held on to her ever since, even though she's extremely wonky. I've thrifted several that have way better face placements than that one, but I'll always hold on to the wonky one. She's my girl. I even have boxes that are just empty in this closet over here from Ever After High dolls. Like, I kept my Legacy Day Cerise's box. Got it for $12 at Ross. Isn't that insane? It's a very nice box, to be fair. Ever After High had amazing package design. I also kept my Kitty Cheshire's box. I don't even have my original Kitty doll. I kind of just kept the box to keep it. Hello, Yasmin playset that I forgot to unbox. Yeah, so I love this line so much. The story was amazing. I feel like the story is something that people always talk about with Ever After High, but it's never, like, truly gone into detail on. So, obviously, the story stars Apple White as well as Raven Queen. Raven's more of the main character, while Apple is kind of the antagonist. But it's never painted in such a black and white way, you know? Obviously, the fans wanted it to be black and white. That's why so many people refer to Apple as being a bitch and a bad person. And I was one of those people for a while. Didn't like Apple. But over time, I've looked at the story of Ever After High with much more nuance than I did when I was a little tiny child collecting dolls, because I didn't want to miss out on the new Monster High, obviously, because I thought that these were going to be like Monster High. And they ended up being better. The story was so good with this line. My god. I made a YouTube channel because of Ever After High. I bought Lizzie, did a review. That was my first YouTube video ever. And so this line has just always held such a place in my heart. Oh, look, there's my other Raven, because I have 3 basic Ravens now. As I was saying, though, Ever After High starred Apple and Raven was kind of the main character, but, you know, it kind of split the focus between both of them somewhat evenly, but you were obviously supposed to think that Raven was the good guy. But looking back in hindsight, Apple had a point, so let's just talk about the start of the story. Basically, there's this thing called the Storybook of Legends that all the fairy tale characters must sign on to their destinies. You got royals like Apple, who are very excited to fulfill their destiny, and rebels like Raven, who don't want to do it. Raven does not want to poison Apple, but Apple wants to be poisoned. She wants to be poisoned so bad, I started to think she might be a masochist. But obviously, Apple just wants to follow her destiny because they don't know what'll happen if someone refuses to sign the book. Cue Raven at Legacy Day. Apple spends pretty much the whole first episode and first season trying to get Raven to sign the book. At Legacy Day, however, which is the line that this gorgeous Cerise doll is from, as well as this Ashlyn, Raven refuses to sign the book. She slams it shut after seeing how horrible her life would be as the evil queen, and so she slams the book shut. She doesn't disappear. Everyone flips their shit. Apple starts crying and calls Raven selfish. That's the moment that turned a lot of people against her, because how dare you bully this goth girl? And yeah, everyone freaks out. And Raven ends up fine, so people realize that they don't have to follow their destinies. Apple's still upset, though, because she wants to get poisoned and be the next Snow White. I've always thought the writing for Ever After High was, like, way too good to just be, like, a silly little kids show made to promote a doll line. 'Cause it is. The story is so well done. There's a new Netflix movie called The School for Good and Evil, and it kind of follows the story like Ever After High does, but, like, a bit darker. I've heard it's darker, but I've never watched it, so I can't tell you much about it. But a lot of people say that the story for that movie is kind of like Ever After High, but darker. And I think that sounds cool. If Ever After High ever does get to come back or get a reboot in some way, I would like them to go all in on how dark the story could be. I think it would be cool. Ever After High is just... Like the dolls look so cool. Like, look at this kitty. Tell me she doesn't look sick as fuck. Look at this Cerise. Look at this Cerise! Look at my Cerise wolf! Yeah, she's a Comic-Con exclusive, but she's so cool. God. Another thing I'd like to see Ever After High improve on, if it ever comes back, is to have more than one black character. Because Justine was kind of it. There was Nina, who also had a darker skin tone, but they were it. Just Nina and Justine. And they were both added towards the end of the brand. So that's something. That's definitely something to chew on. Need some more diversity in this line, because you might be noticing something about this shelf. What I'm trying to say with this video is just that Ever After High definitely deserves a second chance on the doll market. I think it would do a lot better now because so many people know what it's about, and they could potentially even go all the way and make that scrapped Ever After High and Monster High crossover movie. Please do that, Mattel. It would be so fucking cool if you did. They probably never will, though, but I really wish they would, because the movie was near completed and scrapped in favor of G2. This is all your fault, Monica. Honestly, though, one of my biggest fears with Ever After High is that if it got popular, I feel like the prices would blow up the same way they did with Monster High as well as Bratz. As a longtime collector from like 2013 to now, I watched it happen. After a doll would leave shelves with Monster High, the resale value on the market would not be very high. Even Comic-Con exclusives would sell for like $200 at the most. I used to think $200 for Dead Fast was expensive. Holy fuck, I would not have expected what they are now. But like, with Ever After High, I think two of the most recent dolls on this shelf I have are my Legacy Day Ashlyn and my Darling right here, my Dragon Games Darling. Both cost me under $30. Ashlyn was $30, I believe, because this line was just very poorly distributed. Like, I never found them anywhere in the US. And you know distribution's bad when you can't even find it in the US, because you know how these companies tend to prefer the US. And so, you know, I paid like under $30 for each, right? Good price. But I feel like if Ever After I did get popular, the prices would go insane. Because that's always what happens. I watched it happen with Bratz. Like, let me think of an example. At one point, I thought, like, $40 for this doll was expensive. That's how much I paid for this doll. She was nude. I had none of her pieces. They ended up selling me her bikini bottom later on, but that was how much I paid, $40 just for the doll. She doesn't go for that anymore. She goes for a lot more. I'll admit, watching the Bratz prices, like, rise was crazy. Like, pretty much all the Roxys I have, I paid way less than they go for nowadays. Like, my Princess Roxy, in this condition, was $50. She was moldy as fuck, but, like, I fixed that. This Roxy, I got in a bundle of 5 for $50, really cheap. She was basically $10. This one, my friend sold me for, I think, $20. I don't remember how much I paid him for her, but that was different. That wasn't a Mercari seller, that was a friend. Another friend sold me this Roxy, my Treasures Roxy, for like $25. Wouldn't get that nowadays. Like, Bratz prices are just madness, and I would hate to see that happen to Ever After High. As much as I love this line and want it to get recognition, I don't want it to get so expensive that the average person can't afford to collect it anymore. I feel like that's unfortunately already happened with Monster High. Like, you can't get a basic Draculaura anymore without, like, selling your soul to the devil from the Bible, pretty much. And all of my basics, you're looking at, like, maybe $100 here. I didn't spend that much on them. But nowadays, you'd be lucky to get just one of them for, like, $50. Which is insane. Don't look up Ghoulia's prices, they're depressing. I've just always hated how in the doll community, like, popularity somehow equates to scarcity, where people will be like, oh, this thing's popular now. It's rare and hard to find. No, the fuck it's not. Do you know how mass-produced the basic Monster High dolls were? The only reason they're inaccessible is because people want to scalp and make the most money possible on them. It's insane, it's unfair, and it kind of creates a barrier for people getting into this brand. It doesn't help that Mattel reproduced these four, and then made them impossible to get, because seriously, has anybody found them in stores? It's been months and I still haven't. The only reason I was able to get these is because Mattel sent them to me because I'm an influencer and whatever. But I just feel so bad getting them every single time, because I know that the average collector isn't going to be able to find them, especially international collectors. You guys get screwed over more often than not. And it's just so unfair. I wish Mattel would do something. I wish their distribution was better so more people could have these dolls. It keeps happening. The Cree productions were not the only time this happened. We all know it just happened recently with Real Drama, and the most recent is unfortunately Holiday Draculaura. How did you sell out in 3 minutes? I guess what I'm saying is that I would hate to see that happen to Ever After High. Because if Mattel did the Monster High approach that they're doing now, with a widely accessible reboot, but a not so widely accessible, like, alumni line for older fans to get their hands on, that would suck. These dolls would become, like, hard to get, like alumni Ever After High dolls. It just would suck. it would just be bad. Not good. I don't even know what the fuck I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say that if Ever After High gets a comeback, I want it to be good. And I don't know how good it would be with the way Mattel currently does things. In short, what I'm saying is that if you want to get into Ever After High, do it now. The prices are pretty good, especially compared to what Monster High and Bratz go for. And if you've always kind of liked this line but didn't know where to start, the prices aren't bad. I think you could get like a bundle of them for like a pretty decent price. I'm trying not to throw numbers around because I know there are some people who watch doll influencers just to get an idea of what they should be pricing their stuff at, and I'm not letting anyone use my videos for that. So, basically, if you want to get started with Ever After High, I highly recommend it. It's a gorgeous doll line. The dolls are all detailed. The characters are all pretty fleshed out, unlike other popular doll lines. It has a good story. You can watch all the movies on YouTube, I'm pretty sure, and if not, there's other less legal ways to watch them. But basically, Ever After High is absolutely worth getting into, and I would love to see some more love for it because it's such an amazing line. And unfortunately, we may never get it back because Mattel has the Disney license, and we all remember why they lost it to begin with. But yeah, I guess I just wanted to talk about this kind of extremely underrated doll line. I don't know why I say kind of. It is very underrated. The community on YouTube used to be huge. I loved the Ever After High community way back when. But, yeah, basically I just wanted to talk about Ever After High, and that's about it. Thank you guys for watching this video. It was kind of just off the top of my head. I'm not a whole video essay person who writes stuff down before I speak. I just say whatever. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!